whenever you want to start up, whether that's a social enterprise or a normal startup, there are two things which are non-negotiable according to me. One is the risk-taking appetite has to be very, very high. You might have to leave a very high-paying job. You will, make people unhappy around you. You have to be completely okay with that. And the second most is you have to be the best salesperson in the office. If you don't know sales, start getting into sales, start understanding sales, and that is non-negotiable, completely not non-negotiable. A lot of people I've seen making mistake that they have a very good tech solution, but the founders don't know how to sell it, and that's the end of the journey.
Hello everyone, thank you for listening to the latest episode of the Indian Startup Show. Today I have the pleasure to speak to Sourabh Kumar. He's the co-founder of PotHoleRaja, a social venture that is on a mission to make India and the world pothole-free. He got the idea after reading a tragic story about a woman who lost her life due to a pothole. He gave up his highly paid corporate job to filling potholes around the streets of Bangalore at 5 a.m. And he didn't even tell his parents. Without any background in civil engineering, he started doing crazy Google searches and ended up creating a number of cool products, including Gridmats, which is a revolutionary patented product that's eco-friendly and durable. Talks about key learnings in the early days, thoughts on social entrepreneurship in India, some do's and don'ts for you. Talks about why you must be a risk taker and good at sales, and the uncomfortable question he asks people when interviewing new staff. Talks about getting goosebumps from random strangers. Talks about business models, including franchise models. And finally, he talks about the biggest pothole he's ever seen and explains how filling a pothole is as easy as making a 3-minute Maggi noodles and much, much more. So please enjoy the show. Thank you. Hello, Sourabh. Thank you for coming on the Indian Startup Show today.
Thank you so much.
Please tell the listeners what you're building.
We are building is quite interesting and very relevant to the world today. We keep hearing about a lot of accidents that happen because of bad roads, mostly because of potholes. That's how the journey began. While fixing potholes using innovative solution, we also innovated something interesting, which is now being used in construction of roads, which is completely by using recycled plastic waste. It has been really fulfilling for us.
Awesome. Why potholes?
That's a very interesting question, Neil. Just a quick background. When I started my journey, I was a software developer. I used to work with Hewlett Packard. After my engineering, I started working there as a IT professional in Bangalore. It was 2016, around I think April or May or April, when I had read a newspaper article which said because of pothole, a young couple met with an accident and the wife unfortunately died. I think that was a trigger for me in my life. I started to think about what can I do in this field, knowing that I'm not a civil engineer. I'm not from a background wherein roads are anyway connected to my educational background or the current work that I'm doing. It triggered me, and I was very curious to understand how does this problem happen, why does this problem happen, and if there is any solution, any sort of solution that can help a common man take this up. That's how the entire journey started, and I always used to question myself, who is that person who would have taken birth to die on a pothole? Number of reasons accidents happen, but I think infrastructure is something that can be in a right manner wherein people don't lose unnecessarily their lives. I mean, if you see in India, developing nations, not only over here, it's a problem which is global. United States, United Kingdom, people spend enormous amount of money to just maintain the roads. Drivers are spending crazy amount of money in repairing their vehicles. It's not just an Indian context, but it's a global problem. That's where it intrigued, and I started doing a lot of research about what can be done for potholes, and that's how I stumbled upon.
Let's go back 6 years then. Let's go back to the start. In terms of research, what research did you do then? Because obviously you're a software developer. You have this idea regarding potholes. What did that look like?
Interesting question. As a software developer, what can we do? We make Google as our best friend, right? So I started typing a lot of crazy stuff like, is there a liquid that exists which converts into solid as soon as it comes out of the bottle? My search used to look like this, that is there a fast setting concrete? Is there something that can be used by non-engineers, right? Another set of interesting stuff that I started doing was I started calling my friends from civil engineering and chemical engineering, saying that, hey, have you come across any such material which can be used by a common person, can get hardened very, very fast? Unfortunately, none of these helped. you would agree with me that when we keep thinking about one particular aspect, the universe guides us towards that. That's how Pothole Raja happened. I met my partner, co-founder Dr. Pratap, who had started this initiative, and initially as a volunteer, and I left my job, and two of us, began our journey in ensuring that we fix as many potholes as we can.
How did you guys meet then?
That's also very interesting. I actually was reading a newspaper. I was telling you, right, that I was doing a lot of research on how can we address this issue. That's where I stumbled upon a newspaper article which said that Pothole Raja is fixing potholes in Bangalore. And I was like, here is someone who's already doing it, and it's already been 7 to 8 months that I have been researching. I called him up and asked if what exactly is it all about, and can I also join him. To my surprise, when I called the next day, he was fixing pothole in a very busy street in Bangalore called St. John's Signal, and that's how we ended up, together.
What were your first impressions of him?
It was so fulfilling when we were fixing pothole, and I remember that we started at 5 o'clock in the morning. At that point of time, there is very very little traffic, right? And that's why we used to choose always the time which is non-peak hours, early morning or late night. While we were fixing potholes, and when we fixed it, we had a lot of people stop by because they knew that we are volunteers, and they stopped by. They said, hey, thank you so much for doing this. We had bus drivers stopping by and just showing us thumbs up, and it was a goosebump moment for me personally in my life, that this was the first time anybody was acknowledging me for my efforts who don't know me. That was some sort of experience for me personally.
Obviously, some people will say, the government should be doing this. That's why we pay the taxes.
Now, this is the question that we've been hearing right from day one. That why is that we are doing, and why is that the government is not doing? I think if you ask me, in a democratic country, we always talk about for the people, but we hardly talk about by the people. We as citizens, what is our contribution? One, of course, is paying taxes. One should definitely be about reporting issues. If we see something around us which is not happening right, how often are we proactive enough to report those issues to the right authorities? And second is, if we find a problem, are we looking at a solution? Are we just looking at highlighting the problem? I think in a developing country like India and other countries across the world, if we find a problem which is a social problem, I personally believe that we should definitely look into solution if that exists. Because if we prove that it can be done, the government can take it and it can be replicated to a very, very large scale. For example, when we started off, it was people who were reporting potholes to us. Whenever they used to find a pothole, all we used to say is, hey, you know what? You don't have to do a lot. You have WhatsApp, click a picture, GPS location, send it to us. You have reported a pothole. That's the first step. And then we went about raising funds and fixing that. So that's, step 2 and step 3. But the point was, people started saying that if Pothole Raja is asking for pictures, and if you're sending them pictures, they will ensure that it is getting fixed. And that is a gap that we found. It's a enormous gap when it comes to people and the government, right? Most of the time, why is that we don't even bother to report issues? Because we know that at the end of the day, it's not going to get fixed. Here is something that happened wherein people started believing, and we personally believe that if that faith can be restored, a lot of things can change. So that's why we say that we are not competing against the government. All we say is we can also work in parallel, because we have thousands and thousands of problems, and if we don't become problem solvers, we will continue to have more problems. And the government currently is also promoting a lot of civic tech initiatives. Like, if there is a civic problem, can there be a digital solution around it, or maybe innovative solution? The government wants us to do a pilot around it, showcase that it functions well, it is working really well, and then they adopt. So that's the way to take it ahead.
No, interesting stuff. In terms of the early days, what mistakes, what were the what key mistakes did you make, looking back?
I think key mistakes, or I would say, not mistake, but learning that happened over a period of time was, if we would have focused more on, hiring right resources. And again, Neil, this is a very tricky field to be in. Social development sector is not an easy field to be in. We don't really find passionate people who can work in this sector. We also initially used to think that maybe, two of us are good enough. We might be able to still sustain and scale it through. course, now we've hired a lot of people, but initially we were almost for 2.5 to 3 years it was only me and Pratap.
Right.
Both of us used to work. We were getting projects, we were doing quite good, but yes, I think that's something that also restricted our growth. We could have done much more in the initial 3 years, but yeah, it's always a learning. Like entrepreneurship is always about learning from our mistake and then not repeating it. Yeah, I think if we would have done that, it would have been great.
Yeah, because you mentioned faith before. What kept going in the early days? Then it was just two of you.
What kept us going right from the beginning was we were always committed towards solving this problem. One promise that I had made to myself when I was leaving my corporate job, so-called high-paying job that we see around. Even now, IT is one of the highest-paying jobs in the market. But when I was leaving my job, I told myself this particular thing, that the day when I sleep, having a doubt that why exactly am I doing this, I will start thinking about something else. Until last night, that thought did not come to me. That has kept me going. That has kept Pratap also going. Both of us, in fact, and we are committed to more innovation in this sector, and also expand not only India but across different countries in the world. For example, we are getting a lot of requests from African countries. We are getting a lot of requests from South Asian countries that your model is very interesting. Can you please either start a franchise or you start a branch over here? We'll do a JV and we'll start operating over here because we have similar challenges. So yes, these things keep us going.
Yeah. What is the business model then?
So business model primarily, there are two things that we do. One is we work with a lot of corporates using their corporate social responsibility budgets. We do public road transformation end to end. We promote a lot of road safety aspect, new initiatives on the public road. At the same time, we are into maintenance of road, and now with PotHoleRaja Gridmats, we are into construction of roads as well. We understood that it's not just about innovative solution in this sector, but also people have been using old technology for quite some time. So it's a sector very innovative at the last. The first thing is, can it be price effective, right? Cost effective. That's where our focus also went, and we understood that the real estate industry, right? If you see a residential community getting built up, a factory setup, or maybe a tech park, all of these places have parking spaces, they have driveways, and same old technology has been used so far. It's very very minimal innovation in this industry. And the moment you talk about sustainability, it's another buzzword according to me, not cost effective. That's where we realize that there is a huge potential market over here which wants better solution, less maintenance, at the same time they want it to be cost effective, and we were touching upon all these three. Here is another business model and the market for us to capitalize.
How fast are you growing then?
We actually are growing very rapidly. If I have to say, the growth is more than 100% since the last couple of years. Expanding, as I said, we are also planning on opening our franchisees. A lot of people have asked for that, so we thought we always wanted to do that, but I think when there is a demand from the market, that's the right time also. On a hiring spree, every month we are hiring at least 3 to 4 people in our organization and working on international expansion, as I mentioned earlier too. So quite happy with the growth since the last 2 years.
I mean, 100% growth. You must be very proud of that.
Of course, as I said, it's so fulfilling that even now we get calls from people who have just been with us for the last 5 years, saying that we still feel that it needs to be growing at a very rapid pace because you guys are doing such a great job. And I think this small make a lot of sense, a lot of difference in our lives. And personally for me, I'm happy that I took this up. I did not end up being in that rat race about earning more money and then going for that typical corporate job, and then finally thinking, did I really do good with my life? So yes, it has been quite fulfilling for me.
What were the thoughts of your friends and family when you said you were going to quit your job then? Your highly paid job in Bangalore.
I tell you one small little story. When I left my job, I had not told my parents about this. Friends were supportive, but typical middle class family, they want their kids to be successful in their life, and success, comes with a good financial condition. Here I was leaving a well-paid corporate job, and then I wanted to do something which was very unorthodox, not a typical, even a IT tech startup. It was a social startup. My parents were very clear that you are not going to leave the job, and I understood their point of view. I definitely got from where they were coming, but I had made my life. I had made my choice, and without telling them, I had quit my job. So it continued for some time, and then finally I revealed that I have already left my job, and this is what I'm doing. I'm doing quite good. Initially they were not so happy about this, of course, but eventually they also realized that yes, he's doing good in his life.
Success. You showed him success. Well done, mate. Yeah, social entrepreneurship. I've done quite a few podcasts in India regarding social entrepreneurship. But what's the state of play then?
Social entrepreneurship now is gaining a lot of traction over
Right.
here, because people have understood that there is a business model around it, right? If you just go back 5 years or 6 years back, people, if you say social entrepreneur, they will say that you are running an NGO. We doubt that you will be earning some money for yourself too. From there to now, people starting a social entrepreneur, enterprise, and becoming intentionally that they say that we want to be a social entrepreneur because there's a lot of problem that needs to be solved, there's a lot of impact that can be created, and it's a for-profit model of business. There are a lot of funds available. There are a lot of VCs who are willing to fund. There are a lot of accelerators who are incubating startups in the space. So now there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of hope, and there are a lot of opportunities available, specifically in India. So it's going in the right direction, according to me.
That's good. People who are interested in doing social entrepreneurship, what advice would you give them? Any sort of do's or don'ts based on your experience?
Whenever you want to start up, whether that's a social enterprise or a normal startup, there are two things which are non-negotiable according to me. One is the risk-taking appetite has to be very, very high. You might have to leave a very high-paying job. You will, make people unhappy around you. You have to be completely okay with that. And the second most is you have to be the best salesperson in the. If you don't know sales, start getting into sales, start understanding sales, and that is non-negotiable, completely not non-negotiable. A lot of people I've seen making mistake that they have a very good tech solution, but the founders don't know how to sell it, and that's the end of the journey. These two things according to me are non-negotiable. Specifically in social entrepreneurship, it's a long-term game. It is not 1 or 2 year. There are people want change, but you will find very less number of people who will be your paying customers. Be patient.
Yeah. Obviously, with sales, you've got a sales life cycle. But I'm thinking with potholes, and surely there's no objections. I mean, have you had any pushbacks or objections?
Whenever we touch upon any such issue, I mean, it can also take a very ugly turn if not portrayed in the right way. For example, whenever we see a problem around us, which is in the society, the first reaction is what? Somebody else is responsible for this. We are paying the money. Where is it going? Somebody is not working towards it. So there's a lot of rage, a lot of anger. If you want to start a company, if you want to start an organization which is going to solve this problem, you have to forget about the rage and the anger. And it is not that you have to do it by dissatisfying yourself. You have to be completely okay with that. Because the moment you go say that, hey, you know what, you are responsible for this, but because you were not competent enough, we are doing this. This is where everything goes wrong. And till today, our focus has been that we want to tell people that there exists a better solution, innovative solution that can change the entire dynamic. All you need to be is little bit more, you know, you need to adopt, you need to be open enough to understand things, and that's how things work. My 2 cents over here is, and we have actually not gotten stopped by anybody until now. People have been very supportive. The municipal authorities, even the local MPs and MLAs too, they have been quite supportive in our initiative, and they wanted to take it to their constituencies, their municipalities, and across the nation. If you do it the right way, make friends is what I always say. Don't make enemies over here, because nobody over here wants somebody to die because of a pothole intentionally. But yeah, these things are happening. So how do we address it collectively? That's the key to success.
Yeah, you talked about hiring over your 6 years. What's your hiring philosophy?
When I hire someone, the first thing that I always tell to a candidate is, tell me something that you have done out of the box, which you were not asked to do. And this is a very uncomfortable question, because people usually talk about, hey, I have studied this, I have in my last project I did this, and it was given to me, and all those things. Everybody is very comfortable saying that. But the moment you ask them that what is that thing that you are also satisfied about, and very few people I've heard have had some answers to this. So when somebody comes up with that, I think
Yeah.
that is something which I find interesting, and I always look forward to hearing their stories, and then I draw my conclusion that are they really a right fit or not a right fit.
And how big's the team then?
So as of now, we are a team of 14 people, and as I mentioned that we are currently hiring, so a lot of open positions are also there. Most probably by the end of this financial year, our target is to be a strong team of 20 individuals, passionate individuals, and we look forward in the next financial year having a bigger team, because we are now, as I said, in an expansion mode, and possibly a lot of franchisees and branches going to get opened in India and some countries in Africa.
Obviously, it's near the end of the year now. How would you sum up this year then?
This year, Neil, was slightly challenging for me, because
Yeah.
this year only, not during the beginning of the year, but almost after the first half is when I decided that we need to now start looking into hiring resources. And hiring is such a pain, specifically during the early stages of a startup. First few employees, it's a massive challenge, and I'm glad that I found some really interesting people in the organization. A lot of decisions did not go right, but I think most of the decisions were on the right track, and a lot of certain things which happened which I wouldn't have really imagined that happening. But when certain things don't happen according to the plan, there is a better plan. So that really helped me also personally to grow as an individual, as a leader in the organization. A lot to learn, still a long way to go, but yes, it's been
But
interesting.
but in terms of leadership, how do you define what does leadership mean to you then?
According to me, I just want to be somebody wherein people feel comfortable around,
Yeah.
and they can reach out to me. If I am not that person, I think I'll not be doing justice to the people that I'm hiring. So my focus is to be there for them, because
Yeah.
in my corporate journey as well, I was quite hesitant to go to my manager and superior if I had a problem. Now that was not a good thing. I mean, I always wanted that. I wish my manager was open enough that I could have, really gone to him and told about this is not happening right, or that is my area of concern. How can he help me? So for me, it is about more to be be with the people, and ensure them that I'm there. Whatever is going right or wrong, I'm always there. My doors are always open for them.
When they come to you, what is the main issue?
In general, in a startup space, time is something that always it's actually not very clear that do we really work from 6 a.m. to 5 p.m., or we work from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., or what exactly is the right time. And now that we are in a massive growing stage, I understand that this is an area of pain for them, and they come to me. I'm really glad that they talk about this. They talk about that there is a when they need holidays, they need some time where they can just freshen up and be back at the job. They have reached out to me. Also, there are some personal things that they go through which they want to share. It becomes quite daunting for me also sometimes. And that's where I have recently, what I did was I had an HR team,
Yeah.
and they're looking into this situation. So I want it to be more like the conversation shouldn't stop that we have a HR team right now. So it's not that they can't reach out to me, but yeah, I think if the process is right, it helps us grow faster.
Where's the worst area in India for potholes then? Which is the
No, every Neil, I this year in the beginning, to understand what's the situation of roads across the country, I did a all India road trip. I was on the road
Okay.
for 2 months and traveled
Wow.
15,000 kilometers, covered the entire country in 2 months, and I realized that every other city is facing the same situation. It's just that
Mm.
the metropolitan cities like Delhi, Bombay, Bangalore, Chennai, it'll be highlighted more because of course the entire limelight is in towards these cities. But the situation in tier 2 and tier 3 cities are not good either. It's equally bad over there. At least the top cities have some funds wherein they're able to maintain or repair the road timely on a timely basis. But tier 2, tier 3 cities don't even have large amount of funds that they can maintain it actively. So, and it's a problem across the country. Places wherein the rainfall is significantly higher, it's a major problem for them. Like the entire Himalayan belt is always in a messed up state. Sometimes it's a cloud burst. Sometimes it's not pothole. I mean the entire road gets vanished in matter of no time. Landslides are pretty common over there.
What was the biggest pothole you've seen then?
That's
Must have seen.
I think the largest that we fixed, which was very satisfactory for us. If I have to tell in a very layman language, you can say 5 steps by 10 steps length into width, right? And that was quite big, and it was not just big; it was very deep. So we had
Ah.
to do a lot of filling. All our estimates had actually gone wrong. We had to bring our raw material once again from our godown and then refix it. So we did it in two go. It was almost, I think, 4.5 years back that we were doing this midnight. Yeah, I think it's quite a learning from then till now how to fix it properly and how to identify which is a pothole and which is a crater.
Is the idea that if I see a pothole, I should be able to fix it myself then?
Yes, of course, Neil. I
Yeah.
mean, if I tell you that fixing a pothole is as simple as making a 2-minute noodles, you'll be surprised. So just like if you want to make a 2-minute noodle, Maggi noodle, you don't need an expertise in cooking. It's just boiling water and all the ingredients mixed. There you go. You have something to eat, which is delicious. Same with our technology as well. If you see a pothole outside your house, or maybe if you're going to your office, all you do is the raw material that we have. You just have to take it over there, clean up that space using any broom that you would be having in your house, or maybe you can just buy it from any shop, and then put the solution, spread it across, allow the traffic to pass. In 10 minutes you have fixed a pothole, which is a permanent fix. It's all weather proof too. You can carry it in your car, one bag, two bag, and if you spot a pothole, you can fix it.
I believe you went to Singapore recently.
Singapore was very interesting. So, it was a global networking forum. A lot of industry leaders, entrepreneurs from different part of the world were there. And the only thing that they wanted is how do we adopt new technologies in our country? A lot of
Right.
people were interested in expanding their business. I had great inquiries when people said that they want to take this to their city and
Right.
open up a branch and start it over there. So it was quite interesting. I mean, in India, I've had inquiries about somebody asking me to give the entire state to them. That they will
Ah.
manage the entire state, and they want to take an exclusive right of our technology. It was very interesting. We had requests from Indonesia, Malaysia, because they wanted latest technology on road construction, and plastic waste is talked about. I think the most talked about waste in the entire world is plastic,
Yeah.
right? And when they see that, acha, somebody is doing something interesting with waste plastic, let me understand more. And when I tell them about the strength, the quality, the cost saving, this is where they say we also want that in our country. And this was interesting. I spent good 5 days over there, 2 to 3 days of networking, and of course 2 days for myself exploring Singapore.
The roads are very nice in Singapore.
Roads are phenomenal. I think they've done a very good job in public transport. There are a lot of things to learn from a country like that. When we and I was actually doing this. I always capture something which I can take back from any city, or this time it was a country, that what can be taken back where I belong to. And one thing that I made note, of course, there is no comparison. I don't even want to compare. Both the countries have very, very different problem set. that country, if you have a small little road damage, the authorities will come and fix it in no time. At the same time, the public transport over there is phenomenal. In 5 days, I never used a cab. Just once I used the bus service, but it was all metro because the connectivity was so good. If I have to take something back from that country to my city and my I think one thing definitely can be done is we can control the way, or maybe we can modify the way constructions happen in India. I think the barricades over here can be much better, much safer than what we use currently. It can not only reduce the amount of pollution, it will be very, very safe for people around, which as of now is a big challenge. As I said, I traveled across the country, so I'm not talking just about Bangalore. I'm talking about the entire country. So wherever there is a construction happening, it can definitely get better in terms of safety.
Yeah, last few questions then. What's been the highlight so far? What's been the best day during your career at PotHoleRaja?
The best day, I would say the first day that I had gone and I fixed pothole. I still get goosebumps when I think about that. And the second best, I would say, when we had when we came up with PotHoleRaja Gridmats. When this product came and we got the test reports and certificates, we were so amazed, happy at the same time that this has passed all the tests. Now it can go for commercial usage. It just felt so good, so different, that where people are only talking about waste, here we are giving a solution from the same waste. So that was very interesting for us, that very exciting day for us. And this was, if I believe, roughly around 1.5 to 2 years back that this happened.
Some people would say we're losing the war on waste. There's too much waste.
See, the way the world is growing, we cannot expect that the waste will go, it will become suddenly less. Now with the introduction of internet, people are more aware about what's happening around the world, and the rate of development in a lot of countries where the rate of development was very less, they are growing rapidly. And when the growth is rapid, there will be a lot of waste generation as well. But the good news is there's a lot of awareness about it as well. So rather than, that's what I say. If you see a waste as a waste, then there is nothing that can happen. But according to me, waste is the next gold for us. If you know how to treat it well, if you know how to convert, people will also get wealthy, and that nature, the planet will actually be much more safer. It's just that our mindset and orientation has to be right. We cannot, sorry, but it cannot be reduced. It will continue to grow at a rapid pace. It's just that how do we manage it better?
Looking back, would you change anything? Entrepreneurial journey? Anything you would change?
I would actually not change anything that has happened, because I believe that today, if I'm talking to you sitting over here in my room, it has happened only because of all the experiences that I've had in the last 6 years. Even if I had committed some mistakes, there was a lot of learning. That's what has made me a better person in this journey as an entrepreneur. Those sequence of activities wouldn't have happened. I'm pretty sure that a learning curve wouldn't have been the same as it is, on date today. So I don't want to change anything. I think I'm pretty happy with how things have happened in the last 6 years.
Has anyone helped you on the journey? Anyone you mention? A special shout out?
Special shout out will definitely go to my partner Pratap, and one more very important person in my life who I met during my MBA days. While I was while in the journey, I also did MBA from SP Jain in Mumbai, and over there I had met Anand sir. I mean, he's also my mentor. During one of the classes wherein he was talking about leadership, and the way he explained the entire aspect of leadership connecting to Bhagavad Gita, I think that is something that I got really connected to. And immediately after the class, I went to him and I asked him that, will you be my mentor? And till date, he's there. Whenever there is a problem, there is something that I want to clarify, he's there. So I think these two people specifically I want to thank in this journey in the last 6 years.
Awesome. It's been a great journey. Long may it continue. Last question then, for people who want more information on yourself and PotHoleRaja, what must they do? How do they connect?
If people want to connect to us, we are there on all the social media platforms. You just have to write PotHoleRaja and you will find us. My you can drop an email to info@groundreality.org. We will be there, happy to help you in whatever problems that you have. So yes, you can go to our pages, like, share, and just drop in a text over there. We will connect back to you and we'll have a conversation.
Awesome. Sourabh, thank you for coming on the show today. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much, Neil. It was really nice hearing you. Have heard a lot about you, and it's good to connect over this podcast.
Awesome. So thank you for coming on the show today. Thanks to Sourabh for coming on the show today. Thank you for supporting the podcast. And if you're building something exciting, please get in touch. hello@neilpatel.co. And let's connect on Twitter @IndianStartupSH. And if you're on Facebook, go to facebook.com/Indian Startup Show. Thank you and goodbye.